had 2 Uncharted Multiplayer betas. I thought this would be a good time to talk about my thoughts on the Uncharted Multiplayer. Now, I did want to make this video last week, but I was kind of ill last week and my voice was really bad, and no one wants to hear me sort of sniff and cough and whatever my way through however long this video is going to be. So I thought I'd make it now, just doing as a retrospect of my general thoughts, because I could talk about Uncharted forever and ever and ever, and many of my poor friends know that because I've talked to them for hours on end about the same old stuff about Uncharted, and bless their hearts, they always listen to me, so thank you as always. So let's get into it. I'm just going to sort of say this I'm just going to talk from the heart. There's no script or anything, I've just got a few notes, so excuse me if I talk really fast. So I tend to talk really fast when I get excited, so please excuse if this sounds really bad and crappy or whatever. But here we go. Uncharted 4, my multiplayer thoughts with the good, the meh, and the ugly. So, starting with the good, first and foremost, I really liked it. I enjoyed both the betas a lot. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I played a lot of it by myself, and I actually enjoyed playing it by myself, which is kind of rare. Sometimes with these online games, it kind of sucks if you're by yourself, because you're like, oh. But no, I had a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun as well when I teamed up with my friends. It was really good. Like, if I was going to have to put it on a scale from, like, Uncharted 2 to Uncharted 3, I'd say Uncharted 4 was definitely more on the Uncharted 2 side. Now, it's not totally Uncharted 2, it also does its own thing, it's going in its own direction, which I really appreciate. I was a huge Uncharted 2 multiplayer fan. Like, that was what got me into multiplayer online gaming in the first place. Like, I was addicted. I was so, like, I sucked at it. I was not good at it. I was terrible, but I just wanted to play it all day, every day. Uncharted 3 multiplayer started off strong. I really enjoyed it at first. I was like, wow, this is crazy. We're jumping from the car to car, and oh my god, this is madness. But slowly after time, it started to just degrade, and I was like, ugh. It got I think it tried too hard to be a mainstream first-person shooter game, but still try to be third-person and in the Uncharted setting. If you get what I mean, it went too far in that way, and it kind of lost me. So one of the things I noticed which was really good about Uncharted 4 was the maps. The 3 maps we had, like, I really like all 3 of them. I like the rooftop one a lot. That was really cool. I was like, damn, it looks good, and it just played well, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Loads of places to go, which is one of the things that these maps have, which is really good. Like, there's loads of sort of different directions, and it kind of promotes people to just keep moving. Whereas Uncharted 3, the maps had this sort of problem. And one of the maps I could think about doing this was the chateau. Like, okay, so in the chateau you had that bit where the whole room goes on fire. Now that is where the fight would happen, like 90% of the time. Like, you knew everyone was in that room, you'd all run up there, there'd probably be like the person who was doing the best, they would just hang out in that room the whole match, just kill everyone that walked into the room. You'd die, you'd spawn on the edge of the map, nothing's ever happening on the edge of the map, and it'd be frustrating because now you just have to run all the way back to that room, and the cycle would just go round and round and round until someone killed whoever was doing well in the room, and then it flipped. It was really annoying. And none of the other bits of the map ever really got used. But this, in Uncharted 4, every place getting used. You respawn, things are happening, people, and you're not even dead for that long either, which is always good. Like, you might die and then you might be looking at the respawn screen for a couple of seconds, but then you're back into it and you can find someone really quickly, which is really good. So I really like that. And also the movement is much better as well. Like, I'm not even, like, sad that the sprint button is gone. I mean, I never really was a big sprint button fan, but I don't really feel that, like, you know how sometimes when you're playing a game you might just press the old buttons out of instinct? Like, I never once pushed a sprint, like, never even crossed my mind. So I was, like, cool with that. And everyone moves so well. Like, considering that everybody in Uncharted 4 is, like, plus 40 years old or something, they're like parkour athletes, jumping all over the map, climbing everywhere, and I think that really adds to promote people to get around and moving. Like, no one ever really camped that I can remember. I don't remember ever thinking, oh my god, there's someone like hanging about in that spot there, we have to go get him. That was like a really annoying thing. That would always have it in Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3. So I think the map design and the movement really helps to get everyone just moving, everyone going, which is really good. Now, I mentioned the loadouts earlier and how I wasn't keen on the Uncharted 3, but now I've got used to the idea of loadouts now, and I think they've done a good job in Uncharted 4 with not making them too hardcore. Like, you just pick a gun, and at the moment there's no attachments or anything. I kind of hope it stays that way, and I think it will, because certain guns like the Metla and the FAL and stuff, they have like the scope already on the gun, which that would be an attachment, I guess. If they weren't already on the gun, you'd have to... Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, they're already there, so I don't think attachments are going to be part of the game. But I do like the way that, you know, it's laid out for you. You've got your points, and you don't have to put a mystic on. You don't have to put the gear on or a sidekick. You can just put your points wherever you want them, and that's good, because normally I like to have a mystical and a gear. I'm not really too keen on the sidekicks or a heavy weapon, so then I put all the rest of my points into, what were they called? The boosters? Or those little things? I can't remember exactly what they were called. But yeah, I had a few guns that I really enjoyed using as well, especially the Metla and the Foul. They were really good. Now, the Mystics... I think the Mystics or the Mysticals. I think they're the Mystics. Now, I'm trying to remember now, but I really like them a lot more than kickbacks. Like, kickbacks for me were like, oh, like, they just were annoying. Like, they were like freebie kills as well. Like, all the things were like, here, have this grenade that's going to spawn 1 billion grenades and kill like 5 people if you're really good. And everyone was always in like a small enclosed space anyway most of the time, so you would get like a annoying amount of kills. Or the grenade that you throw and it blows up on impact. Like, these are like freebie kills, whereas the Mystics, they're more like giving you the what's the word, like, not giving you a bit more of an advantage to get a kill. You still need to put the work in. Like, you throw down the El Dorado, like the El Dorado, it will do damage. That's probably the only one that's gonna like help you, but it doesn't always kill unless someone's really weak. So you still would have to throw down those Mystics and still put the work in with your gun to get the kill. And I like that. I do hope there's a few more Mysticals, because at the moment, I don't know, 5 seems a little bit small of a choice, but I enjoy using the Chintamani stone. At first I was like, oh, a Chintamani stone. But then actually I enjoyed picking people up, and I always like doing, picking people up and giving them the kiss toy, you know, like kissing them down. It was just something I enjoyed doing. But yeah, sometimes the El Dorado could be a little bit annoying if like a lot of people were using it. Like, I noticed in this beta particularly. Now, I'm not sure if it was because a lot of people were stuck. There was a sort of weird glitch where you couldn't really pick your loadout and you were just stuck. So maybe a lot of people were just choosing the default AK El Dorado sort of thing. And maybe a lot of people were having problems adjusting to the fact that these mysticals aren't kickbacks. You're not trying to get automatic kills with them. They're more, as I said, giving you the advantage to kill. So a lot of people would just see, well, what's the point of the others? You're not getting kills with the other ones, whereas the El Dorado doesn't. Some people would throw like, well, not someone, but you know, you'd get like a group of people, they're all using the El Dorado, so they'd throw like 3 at the same time, then you're pretty screwed when that happens. But other than that, I really like the Mysticals, and I like how you sort of get money, and you can do whatever you want. Like, you could buy a mystical if you want, or you could buy a heavy weapon. I think that's a good idea. Other things I want to touch on is the radar and revive system. Now, I remember I was a little bit skeptical when I saw this at first, because I was like, what? That's not Uncharted. But I think it works really well. I mean, the radar... I mean, I wasn't offended by the radar when I was playing. I mean, I guess it's just part and parcel of the game, so it's okay. And the revive system works really well, actually, because Uncharted at its core is about Nate and his friends and all that stuff, so I think it was a good idea to incorporate it, especially because now you have this sort of teamwork kind of feeling that maybe some people didn't have before. And a lot of people do pick people up, but then some people die really quick. But I feel like it's not, like, you know, in The Last of Us, where you're like down, you're like, oh, this is forever. Because you can die and you respawn quite quickly, it's not like, you know, it's not really the end of the world. I don't feel like, So those are all the things. Oh, and I'd like to mention as well, the grappling hook is really cool. Like, swinging across all those gaps and stuff. So those are everything I want to talk about for the good. Now for the meh. Now, the reason I call this the meh and not the bad is because I don't want to say that anything in this game was particularly bad, especially when they want you to know the beta is not the final product, blah, 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 blah. So I don't really want to, like, you know, kick it while it may not be the full thing. So that's why I just put meh, because I just want to talk about things that maybe could be better, or what I'd hope for, or things that I miss, so stuff like that. So it's not under a cloud of badness. So starting off with, one thing I noticed was the medals. Like, there's not that many different medals at the moment. Like, you get, what is it, Master Downer, Gearhead, and Helping Hand. And that I think that might be it. That might be the only ones I've really seen. And I remember in the Uncharted games before that you have loads of medals popping up, and it was always really satisfying to like get like all the different. This is gonna sound really lame, but I would have like little songs that I would sing to myself when I got like certain medals popping up, like the one with fisticuffs and stuff. And I don't know, I just liked it. I just felt like, you know, the game was like, yeah, look, you did this cool thing. I'm like, yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? The other thing as well, I mean, it's only a minor gripe, but I do miss that classic sound that you'd get when you killed someone, that shling sort of noise. Oh, that was so satisfying. Now I don't know, some sort of bonk. No, that was probably a terrible impression of it, but it's some sort of noise. But I mean, again, it's not a big deal, but that was just very Uncharted-y, something I really liked. So the kickbacks the side kicks that I mentioned earlier, not a big fan of them. I don't necessarily hate them. I mean, I don't really use them as well. Like, when I use them, I'm kind of like, I feel like I've wasted my money. I'm like, oh, yeah, it was alright, I guess. But I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. Like, I'm just sort of like, off you go into the world, do whatever it is you do. Like, it doesn't really feel very satisfying. Like when your kickback, why do I keep calling them kickback? Your sidekick, it's because it's got kick in it. When your sidekick gets the kill, because it's like, well, I want to get the kill, you know. I don't want this random whoever they are to do it. Also as well, like sometimes it can be kind of frustrating to see them even on the map. People didn't seem to be spamming them so much this time around that I remember. Maybe some other people are like, but the hunter ones are kind of annoying. They sort of run up to you and stuff. I don't know, there's a bit of a weird sort of thing going on where it's like, especially as well when I'm like facing a sidekick and then there's also a human person, like I just want to kill the human person, but then it's the sidekick so annoying because it's like the sidekick's looking at you and like, oh, now I have to waste my bullets killing this thing. Not a major deal, and I know there's nothing. That's probably something that's going to stay and stuff. I mean, the Brute's not as bad as the Brute used to be. The Brute in the first beta, that was like, oh, it was hell taking it down. Actually, a lot of the time, when I see the Brute, I'm like, not even going to bother. I just go somewhere else. I'm like, well, I can't even bother to engage in this. The only ones I normally kill is if a hunter's running after you, or sometimes if a sniper's be getting on my nerves and I'll make a trip to see him. But yeah, the Brute, I'm just like, see ya, bud. I'm not even going there. So I mentioned how I liked the grappling hook, but I don't really like the grappling hook kind of melee attack. Like, I really miss stealth attacks. Like, it was just really satisfying. Like, when you got up behind someone, like, now I was by no means someone who would, like, sneak around the map. Like, there were people that were really good, and they would just sneak around the map and be able to, like, break people's necks all the time. But it was just, like, a nice thing when you found yourself in that situation, like, yeah, I just break this person's neck, and, oh, snap would come up, and it was just good. But now when I'm behind someone, like, I'm still like, oh, I've got behind the enemy, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing really I could do here. Like, because even that hook thing, you have to go, ding, and then even when you hit the person, it's not as satisfying. So I end up just shooting someone when I'm behind them. It's just, I don't know, I just do miss that. And the hook's just really irritating as well. Like, when people run at you with it, there's like, the outcome is pretty much, you're probably going to die, because if you're running backwards trying to shoot them and they're running towards you, like, you're sort of like, you're not as fast running backwards trying to shoot as they are just running at you with this devil stare in their eyes, like, I'm gonna hook you. Like, it's not. And also, if you climb up things, they could climb up and jump with this hook sort of held in their hand. So I am a little wary. I remember in the first beta there was like a problem where everyone was running around the map with that bloody hook. Didn't feel it so much in this one, but I do feel like it could go that way. Like, there may be an epidemic of hook runners around there, like, coming in the future when people were just running around. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I'm just a little wary of that. So other things as well, like, now something I wasn't too sure about was how many kills you have to get in each round to win. Like, 35 seemed kind of low. Now, when you were having like a good competitive match, then the match would go on for like 10 minutes or something, which is a good time. But if your team was like just wrecking the other team, then the match would be over like ridiculously quickly. And it was kind of frustrating, especially when you felt like you hadn't even done anything in the match. Like, sometimes, there was a couple of times where, okay, I'm not like brilliant at the game, so sometimes I would have got like 3 kills or something, you know, I'm just going around, I'm like, oh, it's over? I didn't even feel like it did anything. And then I'm looking at the scoreboard and then there's some guy who went like 20 kills, 16 downs or whatever, and I'm like, oh, no wonder. But if it's not just him and his friend, so if you're in a party and your party is like kicking ass, the matches are going to go by super quick. I feel like maybe if they added on 5 more kills to make it 40 for the win, then it might balance it out a little bit. But maybe that's kind of the point, because I do feel like the matches all do go by rather quickly, and maybe they wanted that like quick match to get you hooked. So it's like, oh, I just did a match, and oh well, there's time to play one more, and then that's how you end up staying up until 4 a.m. in the morning playing it. So maybe that was the tactic all along with that. Oh yeah, I hope there's going to be co-op modes or some sort of other modes in the game. There probably will be. This is Uncharted. I just hope they don't strip back. I'm pretty sure there'll be possibly objective. Thing is, how with the mysticals and all the sidekicks and stuff, I'm not really sure how that's going to play into like objective mode and all that stuff. That'll be really interesting to see. I hope there's objective, because I like doing a bit of plunder and stuff. 3-team deathmatch, would that come back? I'm just trying to think now. These are questions I haven't even asked myself. I wouldn't mind if that came out. That was quite fun, to be honest. Yeah, so I'm hoping there'd be more modes. I would be quite disappointed if it was just normal team deathmatch and that's it. For co-op, I like co-op adventure a lot, and I like co-op survival, whatever have you, a lot as well. So I really hope that comes back. I would be a little disappointed if either of those two weren't in it. I would like the co-op kind of... That was what it was called, co-op arena. Now, for co-op arena, I'd like there to be a separate survival mode, separate plunder, separate... What was the third one? Siege. And then a mode that combines all three of them, like you had for Uncharted 3. Final thing that I am concerned about is those Naughty Dog points. They look menacing to me, because those are just screaming microtransaction real money, and if Uncharted 3 taught me anything, is they just shove that stuff in your face. No, Uncharted 3, I do not want to buy a bloody ticket for the damn tournament. Can you stop giving me the notification? I didn't even understand what that tournament was about. Like, why do I want to give money to that? Like, I just don't care. It just come and pop up all the time. I don't want it. Thankfully, though, relics seem to drop a lot quicker in this. I remember the first beta, I was like, God, I'm never going to get anywhere trying to get these flipping things by the relics. But so yeah, it seems like the relics drop a lot more frequently, so you're going to be able to get some more skins and stuff for all the characters. So hopefully it's not going to be so annoying. Like, it does feel a little bit like treasures, because when you get those relics, you can't really say, I want this. You have to sort of rely on the box just giving you a random whatever the box is going to give you, which could suck if you're waiting for a certain item. And that's when the Naughty Dog points are like, hey, you could just buy some Naughty Dog points and then you can have that item you really, really want. So, I mean, I don't mind that they're there. Just please don't remind me about them. Don't shove them in my face. Just don't beg for my money. So I think that is everything in the mare that I wanted to talk about.
A scoundrel like me, you're an odd duck, aren't you?
Yep. The only thing ugly in this beta is Harry Flynn's voice. Now, I know this has gone around, a lot of people have talked about this, there's nothing we could do about it, but I just need to get it off my chest, because I can't stand it. It's awful. And it's a real shame that things didn't work out. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the logistics and everything about how we could change it or whatever, because there's nothing we do. That's it. That's Flynn in this game, sadly. But it's just a terrible, terrible voice. Like, the first thing I did when I played both betas was I clicked on Harry Flynn, because I love Harry Flynn. He's my favourite villain. Best. He has such a cool voice as well. That's the thing. He's like a cool villain. He has a cool voice. And this guy comes along and he starts talking like he's been down the pub. Like a stereotypical Mockney pub accent. Alright, yeah, I'm somewhere from London. Yeah, bags of skill, mate. Who is this? This is not Harry Flynn. This is a terrible, terrible impression. It's not even an impression. It's a totally different character. Like, did they hire someone and were like, oh yeah, we need a voice for this British guy, probably from London somewhere. Off you go. Did he even listen to the original Harry Flynn voice? Because I doubt it, because he sounds nothing like him. Like, couldn't they hide someone that could do a competent impression of him? Like, the thing that I was thinking about when I was playing it, and I think I've only played as Harry Flynn twice. Like, right now I would show clips of Harry Flynn being played, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I hate when someone on my team is playing on him. I hate when I have to play against him, because I just don't want to hear it. It's awful. But I was just thinking, when they were in the recording, we were recording this, who was going, yeah, brilliant, yeah, oh my god, this is a great, like, who was doing that? Nobody in their right mind. I mean, maybe it's because, you know, they're in America and it's like, oh, great. Like, you know, if you're not in your country, then maybe you don't really know if you're doing a good other country accent. So maybe they thought, yeah, he sounds totally British, whatever that means. But it's beyond terrible, and it's a real shame that a fan favourite character it's just been ruined. It's a totally different character. Like, I feel a bit bad, like, ripping on this guy because obviously it was paid to do a job, but he just did it so badly, and it's just, oh, I can't handle it. So I just felt like I had to get it off my chest, because Harry Flynn was the character I played as a villain on Uncharted 3 and on Uncharted 2. That's why this is a big deal, and it's touched me, and I'm very, very sad about it. I actually watched a video on YouTube today which someone had put together a compilation of all Harry Flynn's quotes, and he says so much better things. Like, I don't know what this guy's banging on about all the time, this new one. The old Harry Flynn had the best lines, he delivered it in the most awesome ways. Oh, and it's just a shame that this is a travesty. A travesty, but there we go. There's nothing we could do about it now. Just have to try and get over it. I feel like I've let some anger out, let some rage out now, and I feel like it's gonna be, well, I'll probably still be angry about it, but it feels a bit better now.
Now's the time to sit back, close your eyes, and think about how terrible the other team feels right now.
And that's basically everything I wanted to say about the Uncharted 4 multiplayer, I think. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought of the Uncharted 4 multiplayer in the comments below. So thank you for watching, and enjoy the Uncharted 4 multiplayer when we finally get to play it forever and ever.